Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Astros Baseball. On tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the Kyle Tucker trade, what's going on with Alex Bregman, and much, much more. Joining me as always, Wally. What's up, pal?
Hey Rob, how are you doing? And happy holidays for everybody that's out there. Like everybody else, as far as the Astros goes, you're seeing the chips start to fall. Uh, we all wonder what the next move's going to be. The Tucker thing is interesting. We'll get into in a second. We've got the Bregman situation is still out there, and then what's also still left is what do they do? There's been a couple of ideas thrown out, but I don't think any of us are satisfied with what we've heard so far. So we'll talk about it here in just a bit.
Yeah, definitely more things to talk about. Let's start with Kyle Tucker, traded to the Cubs uh, for Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, and Cam Smith, who's the 73 overall prospect, and it was the Cubs' number 7, and he's now our number 2. So first, let's talk about Kyle Tucker. Last year, he hit 289, 408, 583, and he was out 3 months for that weird, we're not going to tell you anything moment. In his 18 games back, he hit 365 with a 1.04 OPS. They traded for Paredes, who came over from Tampa Bay at the trade deadline. He hit 105 with a 319 OPS at Wrigley Field. So these guys did not want to keep him. And he hit 333 with a 911 OPS on the road. He's a pull hitter. He is made for the Crawford boxes. And then, what do you think about the trade, Wally? How'd you feel when you heard that it happened?
Well, you saw it coming for first. I think that's one of the things that made it a little easier for me to take as far as the trade goes is when you saw where the numbers were going with Soto. And what a cataclysmic shift that's done to baseball salaries. You got to the numbers that Tucker was going to get, got into a pool the Astros just simply don't swim in. Yeah, he's one of the guys you could look and legitimately say, give him a 10-year deal, $400 million, and the Astros probably could have gone after that and worked it into their plan, but they just don't. 6 years seems to be the number. Uh, you can understand why Tucker would want more than six because at 6 years, that puts it at the end of age 34. He's not quite as valuable at that point. And so he wants to tie something up like Bregman's trying to get himself tied up until he's age 37, 38. When you saw the numbers coming out, it was, again, not a surprise. I think they did as well as they could. And what I did like about it depends on how the guys work out, but it's very strategic. They got a third baseman in return who's a good third baseman who should profile to the Crawford box as well. They got a third baseman who I'm surprised you said he was the number 2 prospect. I thought he was going to be the number 1 prospect. Is Melton still the number 1 that
I
you
guess
saw?
so. I guess so. I didn't see it, but somebody said it.
Anyway, he's one of the top 2 prospects the Astros have.
Yeah.
And with Wesneski, uh, don't know too much about him, but have seen some videos on him throwing a sweeper that moves about 3 feet.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, literally, if people who are listening, if you want to see something that'll make you go, "Wow,"
Yeah.
go watch one of his sweepers, and it's pretty. His numbers are okay. He's 9-13 for his career. He was 3-6 last year. 28 games pitched, 7 starts. So he profiles as a long man, swing man.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe he can profile as a back end starter, but I think the Astros pitching staff, the pitching uh, coaching staff is so good at finding what pitchers do well and enhancing it and then tweaking their mix a little bit to make it even better. So there's something to look at there, but really the centerpiece of the deal is Cam Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Short term it's Paredes, but long term it's Cam Smith. He held his own as a 21-year-old Double A. Uh, Went through low A, high A, and then ended up in Double A, and
Yep.
held his own. Probably will start at Double A this year, and then hopefully for Triple A at the end of the season, and then you see him up at the big team in 26.
Yep, he hit 313 with a 1,005 OPS in 32 games. And the reason he didn't play a lot of games is you get drafted and then you go play minor league baseball. There's no break for you. So it wasn't even a whole year. It was 32 games. I think he did great. I think the Cubs. What I read about the Cubs wanting Tucker is they wanted a star. They wanted a star player. I think they had Bellinger, but I don't think he's considered a star. Bellinger is got signed by the Yankees or traded to the
Got
Yankees.
traded. Yeah, he got
Yeah,
traded for.
and but overall, yeah. I mean, you got Paredes. We need a third baseman with Alex Bregman gone, and they said we're still in the mix for him because Paredes can play first, second, short, and third. He can play all of them.
Oh yeah,
So for some reason, if they did get Bregman, which I really don't think that's going to happen
I don't
because
think so either.
Boston's a front runner. I don't think they're going to get him. But if they did, he could move to first, and that makes our team way, way, way better. But we got him for 3 years instead of Kyle Tucker for one. And if you remember last year, I mean, Kyle Tucker, one of the best players on the team, hands down.
Probably
Second
the
team,
best.
yeah, second team All MLB, All Star 3 years in a row, 30 home runs, 100 and something RBIs, like clockwork. But I mean, like last year when we started getting hot and started winning, he was out.
Right.
So we can win without him. And also, I was going to share these numbers with you because I read that someone said, like Kyle Tucker is great, but he fizzles out in the playoffs. So before we came on, I kind of looked at his playoff numbers. And last year, we only played 2 games, but he went 0 for 7. And the year before that, 6 for 40, 10 for 49, 7 for 61, 15 for 49, and 2 for 12. So 6 for 40 is not that great. The last year, I don't want to really count it, even though the
That's
last
just
eight
two
games.
games.
Yeah, but I mean, the last 18 games he played good. So I don't want to. I don't think that really matters that he went 0 for 7 because he could have went 4 for 4 in the next game. Who knows?
Right.
But overall, I'm happy with it because we needed a third baseman. We said this thousands of times that Bregman's harder to replace, and we replaced him.
Yeah, and they must have taken a look at the landscape and pivoted very quickly to say that we're not going to sign him for what he wants. We never know what the back conversations are, and they if they could have talked to his agents and they said, where are you starting? And we're saying they're starting at 10 and 450, and we said the Astros said that we're starting at 8 and 300 or whatever, so whatever that number might be. And they say, it's such a wide gulf that they're not gonna be able to bridge
Yeah.
it. And so let's just go ahead and get what we can get for him now and make a strategic deal. And I thought, given what they had to work with, you can never tell what the performance is going to be, but up front it looks like a pretty strategic deal. None of these guys are going to be as good as Tucker, but they filled holes and they have a chance to fight another day.
I think as soon as Kyle Tucker was a 3-time All Star and a 2-time All MLB second team, the writing was already on the wall even before Soto got the big contract. I don't think. I think everybody could see that. Some people thought Tucker didn't want to be here, but I didn't really see that. But you could just see like there's no way he's going to be here because also there's no track record that the Astros signed these guys because every star we've had besides Altuve, they're all gone.
Well, and Jordan too. The weird thing on this whole situation, it's all kind of a, a, a jigsaw puzzle, is that something I think there's something besides the salary was going on with Bellinger. They said they wanted to offload that salary up in Chicago, but you wonder if there's something else going on because Tucker's going to make 15, 16, 17 or whatever he's going to make in arbitration. Bellinger's making 25 or so, whatever that number is. And yeah, there's a difference, but if Tucker's going to play the outfield, you've got places to play a guy like Bellinger. And they sure seemed awfully eager to get rid of him. And that's just a weird deal.
Yeah. I think we got lucky too because, like I said, Paredes hit 105 in Wrigley Field, and one of my buddies at work is a huge Cubs fan. He's like, and when I told him that we traded for him, he's like, "Yeah, that guy didn't do anything. Like that was a bust." So I feel like we got a guy that we needed and wanted, and we got a guy that they didn't want.
Yeah, I heard on MLB network radio the other day. They're talking about the Cubs in particular, and said it seemed like every series in Chicago the wind was blowing.
Did you lose? I think. Can you hear me? I think you lost your mic. I can't hear you. Something happened. So anyway, Wally lost his microphone. Let's see why when he can get back in here.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All
Okay,
right,
so
he's back.
they said that the Cubs the wind was blowing in at Wrigley Field all it seemed like every series all year last year, and so that really skewed the numbers. You know, people talk about Chicago as being Wrigley Field as being a hitter's park, and it's all wind dependent. When
Yeah.
you look at the dimensions of Wrigley Field, they've got the wells in right and left field straight down the line, and it's a shot to get it out of there and straight down the lines if the wind's blowing in. If it's blowing out, that's a different story.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's going to work out good. We got the Crawford boxes. We're inside. It's going to be great. You know that Wesniewski kid's from Houston. It's a
Yeah,
dream
he's from
come true
Cyprus,
coming
isn't
to
he?
the Astros.
He's from Cyprus, isn't he?
I don't know. I never heard of him before yesterday or when they traded for him.
No.
I got a tidbit. You talked about Bellinger. I got a tidbit I saw on Twitter before we came on. You guys want to hear it? All right. Bellinger's wife, they traded him to the Yankees,
Yeah.
folks. Remember this? You saw it?
Yeah.
Bellinger's wife is what's his name? Stanton?
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo Stanton's ex.
I saw there was is his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend.
I don't know. I just said ex.
God, they're setting a whole Peyton place up there, aren't they?
Yeah. I think it's weird when people have boyfriends and girlfriends and call them exes because it makes it feel like they've been married before. But anyway, you want to shuffle on to Alex Bregman or
Yeah, sure.
so? How do you feel? Are you okay with this trade overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think given what they had, it's always better to get something than something
Yeah.
for him for nothing. The Astros were not the only way I would not be really in favor of it if the Astros were right on the cusp of really winning a World Series.
Yeah.
If they were loaded up like say this was 2019 or 22.
They keep posting that 2019 lineup, and I still can't believe that
Yeah, I
we have
can't.
all those players.
Man, if they'd traded him before 22, that's a different story because those two lineups were loaded.
Yeah.
This one is they're trying to compete and retool.
Yeah. But I like it. We got the guy for 3 years, so and then that kid should be up about the time when this guy's out or maybe sooner. Who knows?
It should be. I'd
He's a
expect
big
20.
dude. He's a big dude like Correa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big. All
Only
right,
problem
so
is he went to Florida State, and those of us that went to Miami, that's bad.
so the only thing I've heard about Bregman lately is that it's like the Astros are in on it. And I had something to say about that. I was practicing in the car on the way home, but they said
You
the
know,
Astros and this and this and that. But what I just read before we came on is that the Red Sox are the front runner for Alex Bregman, and I don't know why. What'd you hear?
well, I'm hearing the same thing you are. It's, after the Soto thing, all your free agents have kind of gone radio silent. I'm surprised guys like Santander and Teoscar haven't freed up some. But what it feels like with the Astros is they're keeping in touch. They're there in case something can't be worked out with the Red Sox or the Yankees or whomever. Is that kind of how it feels to you?
Yeah. So this is what I was going to say. They were saying this is what the Astros said. Dana Brown said this. We're going to look for this. We're going to look for this. We're going to try to get this. But if we're able to sign Bregman, then we're going to go with what we have. So it doesn't make sense, right? That they
Yeah. Yeah,
that they did what they did because that would take them out of the Bregman thing.
yeah, we talked on one of the other pods before. I think is MLB Radio. Eduardo Perez and Steve Phillips had a real good conversation about Bregman, and for those who haven't heard it before, the summary of it is they couldn't tell how Bregman was going to age in that contract. His bat speed is nothing out of the ordinary. He has some pop. He doesn't have a ton of pop. His OPS has dropped. His walks dropped in half this year. He pops up a lot, and when you pop up, you're usually late. You're almost always late.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean in the future? I mean, your bat speed isn't going to magically increase unless there's something mechanically wrong that other teams can unlock. And with the way that that analytics are now, you would think the Astros would have unlocked it. So, like, we kind of laugh with some friends. I wonder what it's going to feel like with bases loaded and one out in Yankee Stadium or Red or Fenway Park when Bregman pops up to shortstop.
I saw this. I looked for it before I came on, but it said Yankees 365, like some fan thing, and the guy posted, "We need to go get Alex Bregman now. It's been 7 years. We need to let it go already." And see, they already say like, "Hey, if we get him, we're not going to boo him anymore."
Yeah, it's like we always say, if somebody might be a jerk on the other team, but he comes to your team, he's our jerk now, so leave him alone.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about Roughneck Odor. I couldn't stand the dude, but if he was on our team, I'd probably love him.
I don't know if I'd even like him if it was on our team.
I would. We're like Seinfeld said, we're cheering for laundry. We're cheering for the shirts, the jerseys on their backs. All right. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I read this too, buddy. The Astros serious suitors for Arenado. I think this was 3 days ago, though. And that don't make
That sounds
sense.
like his agent talking to me, doesn't it to you?
Yeah. But I wrote down some numbers. Last year, Bregman on a down year. Bregman had his worst season of all. 4.1 WAR, Arenado 2.5.
Yeah.
And you want to do that? I mean, Arenado out-hit him by 6. Alex Bregman had 10 more homers, 6 more RBIs, and Arenado had beat him by 12 points in the average. But Bregman had slugging, OPS plus. I mean, hopefully this is old news because I don't want this dude, and he costs a lot of money. So let's just get
Well,
away.
and you just hit on the point. He's under contract for 3 years up until the end of 27, and he's making 27 a year.
Yeah.
So unless the Cardinals are going to pay a huge amount of this contract, you might as well go out and take a chance on Bregman for 6 years.
Yeah. That's right.
If it's a binary choice between those two.
Yeah. If you're the owner, how many years would you give Bregman?
Oof.
He's 6 would get him
30.
at 37.
I mean, if I'd want to go 5 and I'd get pushed to 6. I would go 7.
I want to go like, here's a 3-year deal with 2-year option if you reach these numbers.
With
but
performance options.
That's not the kind of player Alex Bregman is. He's way too good to get some kind of deal like that.
No, to me, I like 5. I'll do 6. If you make performance options in year 6, I might give you a 7th, but you're gonna have to show me in year 6.
Yeah, I like that. I like giving him 5, kind of like they did JV. If you throw 140 innings in your second year, you can come back the third year, and he didn't.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I do have I forgot one of these Tucker stats if we want to go back real quick.
Yeah, sure.
64 games, 218 batting average, 27 runs, 50 hits, 8 doubles, 8 homers, 28 RBIs. So 8 home runs, 28 RBIs is 64 games with a 218 average. That's his playoff.
No, okay.
That's his playoff stats.
I was wondering where you're
that's
going
what
with
people
that.
are saying. That's what people are saying. Like, oh well, we kind of won without him, and he kind of falls away in the playoffs.
It's
Last
kind
year
of like,
it was like two guys. Remember when Abreu? It was Abreu and somebody else. Only two people or four people, right? There was four guys doing stuff, and then last year nobody did anything.
yeah. Last year that was the perfect storm waiting to happen. You run into Tarek Skubal, and then
Yeah,
you get a weird mismatch game to make it work, and that's just how it goes.
I'm still happy that we won the division, though.
Oh yeah,
Still super happy. Still pumped. That was a big accomplishment. Don't
yeah.
forget
Didn't you
that.
kind of feel when they won the division, it was they kind of exhaled, and it was tough for them to get back up for the playoffs.
Yeah. It's
Rangers
like
are going to be
it's
tough.
like climbing all the way to the top of the hill, and you're like, "Oh, we're there. Okay, you got to play again. Climb up it again. Ah,
Yeah,
no, we're good."
I'm done. Rangers are going to be tough next year. We can talk more about it on another show, but I think
Really?
Rangers have made some nice moves.
Hmm. All right, so let's take a quick break, Wally, and then we come back. Let's talk about our outfield needs because I see this lineup. There's a lot of people on social media get us a first baseman, but I mean, Dana Brown said that he doesn't want Jordan playing left field. He wants him DHing most of the time. So the outfielders we have now, I think we need someone, and that someone could be Teoscar Hernandez, former Astro. So we'll talk about that all when we come back. Not when we get right back, but when we come back. You're listening to Astros baseball. All right, folks, we're back. Rob Fontenot with Wally, the main man, Pen Penberthy.
Penberthy.
God dang it. I know it. I don't know why I
Yeah.
couldn't think of it. I was just trying something different there in the intro back from the commercial break. But anyway, outfield needs. You're not happy with this outfield we got, are you?
I just don't think you can win with it, do you?
No. This is
I
what
mean,
I've seen. I don't know what you've seen, but without Jordan in the outfield, they've got Chaz, Dubon, and Jake, and they also got them batting seventh, eighth, and ninth. That's not
yeah,
going
when
to
I
get it
heard,
done.
yeah, when I heard Dana Dana saying they're ready to go to war with Chaz in right field and Jake in center, I was ready for his nose to come poking through the screen
Yeah.
because there's no way that's going to work. Here's what you have out there, and we talked about this one earlier. Is um, don't don't close your eyes on a guy like Max Kepler.
Yeah.
He had a down year because you've got Anthony Santander who wants 5 years. He's kind of a high strikeout, low on base guy. Teoscar, who's not really given any thought that the Astros would that he'd come to the Astros, but he wants 3 years, 22 to
Yeah.
24 in a year. So I mean, if the Astros came in at 3 and 75, he'd do it.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
Max Kepler could be somebody that you could put in right field. He's a right fielder, left-handed bat. Um, you're betting on the come a little bit because he had a bad season last year, but
Yeah.
I could one game where he walked the Astros off. So he's been a good player for quite a while, and would be at least worth a look.
And Wally just made a craps reference, by the way, folks.
A what?
You made a crap reference. Craps.
Oh,
You said betting on the come.
oh yeah.
There you go. That's the way
I
to
was.
do it right
I thought
there.
you said. I thought you were going to make us go R rated instead of PG.
Oh, no. That stadium Steffi's job. We're out of it now. We're no longer R rated. We're back in the clean graces. Altuve, Paredes, Jordan, Yiner. This is actually talking baseball, so there's no way this is going to be the lineup. Then they got Singleton and then Pena, and then Chaz, Dubon, and Jake. We
Man, that's
can't.
a long
First of
tail.
all, we can't have Dubon in left field because he's the
No,
utility guy. You can't have it.
no.
He's too
You,
valuable
you,
in the role that he's in.
you look at Dubon, one of the things that hurt the team. I mean, he gives it all he's got, and he's got some skills. But Dubon's that guy you want to play 110 games a season.
Yeah.
Play 100 games, 10 games a season. He's the guy who plays 5 games a week. 4 or 5 games a week, and he's giving other guys a blow.
Yeah.
And to expect Dubon to be a day, an everyday player is asking him to do something he's probably not going to be able to do.
Yeah. The only thing that could happen is our number one prospect, Jacob Milton, could make his way up to the big leagues. We got some young pitchers that could make
Yeah.
their way up, but we got a lot of pitchers. I don't know about the bullpen, but we got a lot of starters. I think we need a fifth starter, and that's what Wisniewski might be. That's what Francisco Romero said, that they got him pinned in as a starter right now.
Do they really?
Yeah, because
Well,
that's all there is.
yeah,
There's nobody left. The rest of them are hurt.
yeah. But you see that thing where Lance was throwing the other day? He
Yeah,
was like standing on top of that ball and then throwing. I mean, he was throwing hard. So hopefully he comes back. It'd be a great story for him to be able to do it.
yeah. It says he's coming back in the middle of the season. Him and Luis.
Is it middle of the season?
Is it middle?
I hope it's coming early. Garcia should be back to start because they were talking about Garcia being ready at the end of the season, end of last season, and he just never was.
I don't even know how I can find that. I usually keep my emails from what's his face, but I don't have it. It's okay, but we can look at the pitchers on another episode of Astros baseball. What else we got? I don't really have anything else.
We got Billy Wagner to talk about.
Billy Wagner. That's like the very top of my page, but it's under the computer. Go ahead, take it over.
One of the things Billy Wagner, it was been reported that Billy Wagner is at 85.7% of the ballot so far. That number usually drops. The percentage usually drops. Billy Wagner, when you look at some of the stats that he had, um, he was at the top of his game. Unlike most players when they retire, when Billy Wagner retired, he walked away because he wanted to walk away. In his final season in 2010, he posted a 1.43 ERA, 37 saves, 104 strikeouts, and 69 and a third innings. You know, to say that he's not in, and some of these other guys are in is just a mistake. He was dominating. He walked away from the game when he wanted to, and if he wanted to stick around another 2 or 3 years, he would have notched a number of saves. As it is right now, he's second uh, second saves for left-handed relievers to John Franco. He has 422. Franco had 424. If he wanted to stick around, he'd be at 460, 470.
Yeah.
And he could still do it. I mean, I don't know why he's not in. He's not a self-promoter.
Yeah.
He didn't play for a world championship team, so that maybe has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But find and I'll even put you up with Rivera. Find me a better reliever over time.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. You just can't.
The thing someone talked about one time on here, I can't remember who it was. It could have been you, it could have been Ryan, it could have been someone 2 years ago. I don't know. But they were saying that the voters are like, okay, this guy is Hall of Fame, but he's like a 7-year guy. It's like,
Yeah.
they're waiting to, if you're going to vote for him, just get it out of the way. Why are you dragging it out 10 years? This guy should have been in 3 or 4 years ago.
I mean, I understand some of it. If you've got a guy that you think is going to be there, and there's a guy who's in the 10th year, and you kind of do your work and say, okay, I've got my last ballot choice, and it's between the guy who just came on and the guy who's just about to fall off, and you vote for the guy who's just about to fall off. I understand that part.
Yeah,
But I've always thought a Hall of Famer is pretty binary. You're either a Hall of Famer or you're not.
that's
And there
true.
are mistakes that get made. Fred McGriff was a mistake. Tommy John not being in the Hall of Fame is a mistake. I'm not sold on Dick Allen being in the Hall of Fame. I mean, people made the name for him, but you put him next to Dave Parker. Man, Dave Parker's so much better a player than
Yeah.
Dick. thought about being.
I think they're going to let Pete Rose in now that he's
No,
not here to enjoy it.
no. Did I ever tell you I saw Rose in the Detroit airport one time?
Really?
He was in this kind of a red kind of satin uh, warm up kind of suit, kind of athletic kind of warm ups kind of suit, and he had these glasses that had like thick gold ringlet looking things around him around the rims. And
Really?
you know, say something or ask for an autograph, which he probably wouldn't have given. But I was like, he looked like a lounge. He just looked like a lounge act. It was kind of sad, actually.
Wow. The only person I've ever seen at the airport that's famous was Jamie Foxx.
Oh yeah,
He's got that tattoo on the back of his head, so I knew it was him. And he's pretty short, but he was just surrounded. He was 5 feet away from me, but he was surrounded by big old dudes, and it's like, there's no way I can go over there. There's no
yeah.
way.
I saw this real tall guy at the airport one time, and I said, "Man, I hope that's a basketball player." And it was Moses Malone.
Dang. All right. Um, you got any
Okay,
final
so
thoughts?
what? Yeah, what happens next for the Astros? What do you think happens next?
Oh man, I don't think they're done. I'll
They
tell you
can't be
that.
done. They can't be done.
The talk was out there about trading Framber Valdez, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think we can get people for him, but I think that we need him. If we're going to compete, we need him. So I don't want to get rid of him. And I mean, you got Christian Javier and all them. I mean, it could be like a trade deadline thing if we're struggling, but we just
Yeah,
said
no, I
like
agree.
we don't have a fifth starter. So how are you going to get rid of this dude? So I think the we're going to trade Framber Valdez thing, I think we could probably put that to bed. Um, I think the Astros may be happy at first base. I don't know, but hopefully they can see what we see. And you need outfielders, dude.
Yeah, no,
You need an outfielder. You can't have Chaz and Jake and whoever the heck's going to be in left field because there's nobody.
yeah,
You might need two outfielders. I don't know.
yeah, no, I think they've got to go out and get an outfielder or somebody. This is where not having a minor league system that's got MLB ready assets hurts them
Yeah,
because they can't go trade anybody. They might go out and get two. I don't think they want to spend 5 years on
yeah,
Santander, uh, but they're going to go out and get a couple of outfielders. The funny thing, Singleton's one of these guys that everybody wants to replace, and every time you try to replace him, he keeps on holding a spot.
yeah.
You know,
I'm okay with them.
yeah,
I would rather
I
have an
feel
outfielder than a first baseman.
yeah, I'd rather them. I tell you, I'd rather them keep Singleton at first base and go out and get an outfielder or two than go get
Yeah.
a go Arenado say to play first base
No,
and leave the outfield as we are. Man, that outfield, that's woo,
no.
that's not going to win.
I think a good thing like we could do is get another guy. We have Chaz and Jake and go through spring training and see if somebody's ready. You got Pedro Leon, who's we've been expecting for like 5 years already, and you have
Yeah,
Jacob Melton. There's guys down there. Like I would give them a chance.
yeah. No, you when you before you said that, said the one thing that could change things is if Melton's ready.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of Leon last night, and he's just a short Jose Siri. Hot dogs that like Siri did. I mean, Leon's only hit. He hit one off the wall, made a bad base running play, got thrown out at second base.
Hmm.
So it's and Leon's getting to the age to where he's no longer a prospect.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: if Cam Smith is with the Corpus Christi Hooks, which I believe he will be, they do play the San Antonio Mission. So
That's true.
I'm definitely going to go check the dude out because I'm
Yeah,
excited about him. I know it's a prospect. I think a lot of honestly, I think a lot of Astro fans were upset about the Tucker thing, but I think they're coming to grips with it, and I think they're kind of accepting that it's a good deal.
I haven't heard many people be real upset with it because they
No.
understand the logic. They got a guy to, when it's explained that you got a person to take Bregman's spot if you lose him. You've got a top prospect and you've got a pitcher, and you can always use pitchers.
Yeah.
Like to have them and Tucker, sure.
Yeah.
But I think most people realize that we were just not going to sign Tucker, so you get something for him.
I wish we had Tucker, Bregman, and Paredes.
Yeah, and I wish we had a lot of other
Right.
guys.
Yeah. But we're not the Mets.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the Mets don't ever win anything? Like, how much money is this guy going to spend to never win
Oh
anything?
man, can you imagine what happens if Soto just starts having issues?
Did you read that the Yankees are going after Pete Alonso?
Yeah, you think that's a middle finger move?
I don't know. I don't know. The only thing I know
I
about
don't-
Alonso is that he's good at the home run derby, but I don't know if he's very good. I don't know too
He's
much.
not a great. He's Christian Walker's a better player. He's older, but he doesn't. He started later. I came up to the bigs later, so maybe he has fewer miles on him.
All right, so my final thought is this. Congratulations to the Houston Texans for winning the AFC South once again. That's back-to-back years.
Yep. We used to call them the Possums.
I got to hear this. Why?
Play dead at home and get killed on the road.
Come on. That is a Wallyism if I ever heard a Wallyism.
I can't claim that one. I heard that from a guy named Jim Donnan, who was the coach of, it was old Georgia coach. He said that on ESPN one time, and I use it a fair amount. But
Wow.
it's, they used to be so bad. Actually, when the announcer for the Texans was the announcer of the Miami Hurricanes, I remember listening to him. He was only there for a year before the Texans started. He came from the Hurricanes to the Texans.
It's crazy. All right, Wally. That's a great thing to end the show on because you're not going to beat Possum. What was it? Plays good at home and is dead on the road?
Plays dead at home and get killed on the road.
Wow. Wow. All right, folks. That's all we have for tonight.
Happy holidays to everybody, and hope you all have a great season.
Happy holidays to everybody. Dude, I have 17 days off for Christmas at work.
Oh, dude.
17 days, folks.
Dude.
My job sucks, but I get a lot of time off.
I want to be you, at least for 17 days.
Woo! All right, folks. We'll see you next time on Astros Baseball. Peace out.